Hi everyone. I almost thought that I'm not going to make it, but I did. Today is the 31st of December 2022. I'm really glad that I could quickly find the time to check in before the year ends. I know for some of you, when you watch this, it probably already has. So welcome back to my channel, Yarn Creations, where I share all my makes with yarn: knitting, crochet, weaving. I do like to ply yarn, but yeah, that's what I do and what I have a passion for and what I love to share with you. I do appreciate all the likes and all the positive comments. I really do appreciate it, and please keep them coming because that keeps me going. So I thought I would like to quickly check in today to show you what I managed to finish before the end of the year. I've set a goal for myself to finish as many WIPs as possible. There's one or two that I did frock that I decided they're not bringing me that much joy at the moment, and I really don't mind. For me, playing with yarn is part of the joy. So if all the projects doesn't become a finished object, then it doesn't really bother me. I like playing with different techniques and stitches and yarn combinations. So a lot of those you don't ever see. Projects that I start and that I play with yarn and then leave them for a little while and then frock them again. So let's get started so that I can do all my preparations for this last day, and I must also pack because I'm going away tomorrow. So the first finished object I want to share with you is what I'm wearing, and that is the summer tee that I knitted. I've showed it to you last time. I knitted it out of one-of-a-kind yarns, Urenda. That's a true blend of bamboo and cotton. So it's not the two strands, cotton and a bamboo strand, that has been plied together. I think they have been spun together. So that makes it a true blend. But yes, I love the fabric and I love the feeling of this fabric on my body. It's very comfortable and it's perfect for our South African summers. But even though I've knitted it with a 3.25mm needle, it's still stretching out a little bit. So if I knit with this yarn again, I will definitely go down to a 3mm. I think that's just the nature of especially the bamboo. Although it's so comfortable to wear, it is a little bit stretchy, but I don't really mind. I like, as you know, I do like loose flowing fabrics. I'm not one for wearing cropped sweaters or summer tees with negative ease or anything like that. So the more positive ease and the more comfortable and flowing it is, the happier I am and the more comfortable I feel. So let me see, I did write some notes. I really did. I've got this notebook that I just covered with very beautiful paper that has been in my cupboard for I think about 20 years. And in this book, I like to just write down what I do with my sweaters that I wear. So I just write up everything so that I can tell you what I did and remember them for the future if I knit in this fabric again. So as I said, I used the 2 Orenda buttons in different colors. You can go back to my previous episode if you want to see how they look. The one I finished completely. I used that, the blue one I used up completely. I did divide the last little bit into 4. I separated the leftover, and then I separated them again to use in the sleeves, to do a little bit of a flow in the sleeves, and I think it came out quite well. They are quite similar, so I was a bit worried what I'm going to do there, but that worked out fine. I started with 140 stitches. I think next time for this, if I use any bamboo cotton mix, I will probably go down to 130 stitches, or more or less around there. So just maybe keep that in mind, that if you do knit with a cotton or a bamboo or a mix, go down a few stitches on your neckline, because the neckline did stretch out quite a lot. I will show you just now how I did stabilize it. So I did, with the 3mm, I did 4 rows of 1 by 1 rib, twisted rib, which I also think might help to stabilize it. But I thought it will. It would, but it didn't really make much of a difference, I think. And then with a 3.25mm, I continued with the rest. I did 5 sets of short rows, and as you know, if you maybe go to my Facebook page, and about September last year, I did write in a few different posts how I knitted my first one last year, Raglan Summer Tea, and in the previous episode I did explain how I did these Raglan increases. So the short rows, the first one stops right here, just after the front Raglan increase, and at the same time you can start with the increases, and then 2 or 3 stitches further every time. And that helps for it to sit nicely on your shoulders. Okay, so when I divided, I did 50 at the back, 50 in the front, 20 for each sleeve. When I divided for the sleeves, I had 86 stitches on my sleeves and 118 stitches for the front and the back of the body, and I casted on 14 stitches below the arm. It is loose fitting. I think it did stretch out a little bit here as well. So it is a deeper raglan, but I don't mind. I like the looseness and the flowiness of the garment. And let me see what else. Oh yes, I did A-line. I'm so glad because if I didn't write this down, I would have forgotten half of what I wanted to say. So last time I also showed you the increases I do for an A-line shape, because I'm a little bit bigger here than I'm here. And so if I yeah, that's the only way. If I just go on straight, then it will be, I don't like how tight it fits around here. So that's why I do the A-line shaping. And I did the yarn overs like I explained it in my previous episode. So please go back. I don't want to repeat all of that for people that are watching, that did already watch that and watch this as well. And yes, I did a total of 6 sets of short rows. I did start a little bit higher up, did a short row set, and then continued with a few rounds, because I did alternate the 2 cakes that I had. So I think I did 3 sets with a few rows going around, and then right at the bottom, before I did the rib, I did another 3 sets of short rows. The first sets of short rows all came up to the side, and in the last 3 I made them shorter. So I think I made the first one just past the middle, and then 10, more or less 10 stitches. Let me just see. No, I did not write that down, but I think it was about 10 stitches shorter for the last 2 sets. So it's got a little bit of a round shape at the back. I quite like that because I don't like my garment to be too long at the front, but I do like a little bit of extra length at the back to cover, you know, all the roundy bits. And then I did 6 rows of twisted rib again in a 3mm. And then I knitted 3 rows stockinette, and I turned and I did an ordinary bind off with a 3.5mm needle, and that gave me a very nice edge. I will try and show it to you. And the sleeves, I did 20 rows of stockinette and then 4 rows of twisted rib with a 3mm, knitted 2 rows stockinette, turn inside out, and bound off a plain ordinary bound off with a 3.5mm. And I've discovered that I do like the look of that. I've tried several ways, several bind offs. I cannot tell you how many. And at the end, I think that that looks the best in my personal opinion. I do like the 2 or 3 rows plain stockinette after the ribbing, and then just a plain bind off with 2 needle sizes bigger, turn inside out and bound off with 2 sizes bigger needle. So let me just quickly, so here you can see at the neckline, first I did a row after I realized that it is stretching out a little bit. I did a round of single crochet with a 2.5mm, and then I wore it again and it stretched out again. So I did with a 2mm crochet hook, I did a row of slip stitches here and a row of slip stitches there. And I must say that I do like this edging with the single crochet and the slip stitches a lot. I might even do that on my future knitted garments, even if it's not going to stretch out at all, because I do like the finishing of that so much. And then the A-line eyelets you can see here, and then the bind off here you can see the 1x1 twisted rib, 3 rows stockinette, and then a very nice edge. Sorry for the body part showing. If you turn and bind off with a bigger needle. So I'm very happy with it. I've worn it quite a few times, and I think that what I've did with the slip stitches and the 2mm crochet hook is I think it's working. Yeah, I hope so, because it did stretch out quite a lot, like it was sitting here. Okay, so I think that's everything. If there's anything else you want to know about this garment, please ask in the comments and I will gladly answer them. Let me quickly see, because I did make some notes and I'm really going to try and follow them, because sometimes I forget to look at my notes. So that was the first whip that I finished. And what else was, okay, then I did finish the socks that I've showed you last time. Sorry, they're not on a blocker now. I don't want to, I didn't remember to bring a blocker, but they are, I did wash them and put them on blockers, so they are so perfect now. So I used the umbrella socks pattern by Kay Jones for her umbrella afterthought heel, but I did mark where I'm going to put in my heel. I think a true afterthought heel is when you don't even mark where your heel is going to be. So I don't know exactly, but I think this is still an afterthought deal because you are doing it afterwards. But I do like the fit of this. It's got more room than a ordinary afterthought heel. And the pattern is for toe up, so she gives you all the instructions to do a toe up, but I prefer cuff down. I think I did 66 rows for the leg, and then I marked for my heel, and in total I had 125 rows, 20 rows 2x2 rib, and then 125 rows in total. I wear a UK number 6. 125 rounds in total for stockinette on a 2.25 millimeter, and then I did the umbrella toe, Kay Jones umbrella toe, but that's exactly the same as the heel. So if you don't have one of her patterns with the umbrella toe, you can just do the heel. That's exactly the same. I do like this toe very much. It's a longer toe. It's about 5 centimeters. That fits my foot very well. So I'm very happy with how they came out. It was with a Knotty Habit knot stopper, self-striping yarn. So when winter comes, I will have a new pair of socks to wear. I'm a bit slow on the socks at the moment because I do have quite a few, and our winters are not that long, but I do wear them every day. In winter, every day. My knitted socks and my Skechers that's my uniform because I'm at home. And I also finished, I don't even remember, I think I showed it to you. I knitted a scrappy scarf, just a plain starting at the point with a few stitches and increasing, an asymmetrical scarf with some leftover merino singles scraps. I always start with the very smallest bit, and then I sort them in how they gets bigger and bigger, and then I just knit. And I did 3 garter ridges and then a row of eyelets. In my previous video, I did also link to the video where I explain how I knit this. I like the size. It's not that big. It's very light and airy, and I love using up every last bit of my yarn. It's just how I am. It actually goes very nicely with what I'm wearing. I will just show you how I like to wear this. One of the ways I like to wear it. That's why I like this size a lot, because it's not a very big bulky piece of fabric around my neck. It's just perfect, and it gives me the warmth that I need here. It's not big like throwing over your shoulders and keeping your back warm. For that, I've got the Stella now that I showed you in my previous finished objects video. So this is just a very nice, comfortable, and it's such a fun knit to use up all your scraps. And it's a very nice on-the-go project because you don't really have to think. You just increase on one side every row and a decrease on the one of the 2 rows at the other side. And that gives you the shape. And when I block it, I don't stretch this out straight. I keep it in a sort of a curve. And that way it goes very nicely. It drapes nicely around my neck. But I did explain all of that in previous videos. So you can just go back. I would love for you to go back, and the more traffic I get on my episodes, the more exposure I get on YouTube, because YouTube is not very kind with us small podcasters. So this is just a scrappy asymmetrical shawl, and very light and thin. I use for the merino singles, I used a 3.25 millimeter needle. And what I like to do is I think I learned that from Yua Knits. You must go and check her out. She's got quite a few nice patterns. One of her shawls, I think it's free on the Nurturing Fibers website, the Mochaccino, that was written by Juanita. A very, very nice pattern that I've knitted a few years back. And on that pattern, I learned to do the eyelets on the back. I think it was in that pattern. Juanita, I think you might be able to correct me. And I like the look of the eyelets on the wrong side row. If you have a wrong side row, it gives a little bit of a pull bump on the front. I'm not sure if it will be able, but it does look different. You can experiment with that, and it gives it a little bit more texture. And I just like that. So if I can, I do my eyelet knit two together on the wrong side row. So that is that. And then the next item I finished that I did show you last time, busy with it, was the Fair Isle Advent M calendar. I didn't make it. There was 24 different little patterns that you could knit, but for our weather, that's totally impractical. No, it's not going to work for our winters. So I did 9 of the patterns, and I did, after every 3 patterns, I added 12 stitches, I think, just to make it a little bit wider at the bottom. See if I can put it on for you, and you can see how lovely it sits. Gives it a little bit more coverage. What I like is that I have a little bit more coverage at my back here. There. And it's narrow here to close up here, and a little bit wider here. I think I ended with just over 200 stitches, I think. I'm not sure, but I think I did link the pattern last time. If I have time, I will try and remember to do it again. But here it is, and I just love it. Love, love, love. I showed you the yarns last time. I used the South African sock yarn base. That is 75 merino, 25 nylon, and it does knit color work quite nicely. And I used at the end I used a 3 millimeter needle because my color work knitting is quite loose. I'm not tight when I knit color work, and I just found that the 3.25 was just it was a little bit too loose. So I can show you my floats. I do get a kick out of nice floats. I really do. So that is the cowl. That is also one of my whips. I really was on a kick. And then the last one, I think, is my opal blanket. That's also done. So at the end, I had 10 squares by 12 rows. And it's a really very nice, comfortable, big lap blanket or a toddler blanket. And I also did a little border. I did another round with a grey. I first did a slip stitch in every 3rd row with 3 chains. So slip 3 chains, slip 3 chains in every 3rd stitch. And then I did 4 rounds of granny clusters. The first round doesn't really look like clusters. And now there's a way that you can, I've done it before, where you, if you want it to look more like a cluster, the first row you can do a 3 double crochets together, chain 2, but I was a bit lazy, to be honest. I just wanted to get it done. And then I did a round of, so for every round I changed a color. I did 1 round, cut it, and then used, I had 3 balls of opal leftovers that matched quite well. So every round is in one of the 3 colors, and then a round of half double crochet and a round of single crochet. I hope that's in focus. I always love a corner. Corners are always the best. So I just love, someone commented, Cowl, I think it was you, that it has a bit of a stained glass feel, and I just love that description of it. So yeah, it's a lot of fun to use some of your opal leftovers for something like that. I think it will even look more stained glass if you use a black for your joining color. And as I said before, I do have a little video where I more or less explain how I do the join. And in my previous video, I'm not going to put all those links again, but in my previous video, my works in progress video, I would link, I think I must link to that video, because below that video is a lot of information and links for everything. So to make it easier on me, if you don't mind, because I've got limited time today, so if you don't mind, I'm going to link to my previous video where I gave all the links for most of the projects that I did finish today, because then they were works in progress. So I think that will help me a lot, if you don't mind. So just go back then to that video, and below that in the description, if you click on more, you will see all the detail and all the links. So this is my opal blanket. I really wanted to use the opal that I had. So I did get a little bit bored with them, and my hand does get a little bit tired still. So I just think it is a nice ending to the year. I think, if I remember correctly, I think I started it about the beginning of the year. I must actually go back and see when I started it. And yeah, I just thought that it would be a great ending to the year to finish one of my big projects. So I've got 2 blanket projects left. The crochet ripple blanket, and then the Fair Isle blanket that I have shown both of them in previous episodes. And the other project that I still have left from that I started in, so that is my 3 projects that has been started earlier in the year, is the 2 blankets, and then the scrapper cardie that I also shown you, that is going with me into 2023. But I really don't mind. I think I did well. So this is my blanket. I love it. I really love it. And the opal it's a little bit more rustic, but still I don't mind it against my skin. I love the feeling of this. It's light, and I think it will be warm. And that's the other reason we had quite a hot spell, and it was not very comfortable doing this edging. So I really wanted to get it done. Just get done with it. So that's my opal blanket. And then just one, where's my notes? I've got notes. Okay. Yes, just one other thing I can maybe show you is another wrap that I wove. And this is with yarn that I dyed myself quite a while back, and I always had in mind that I want to weave a wrap with it. It's African Expressions Charmed. It's you can buy them, I think, in quite a few online stores and yarn stores. It's a natural color, a natural yarn, and then you can dye them. So if you don't want to order a lot of yarn from Stukken, you can also order from Stukken online, but then there's 10 skeins in a pack. And I think in most stores you will be able to buy these African Expression skeins one separately if you just want to play with dyeing your own yarn. And I think you can order from African Expressions, maybe, I'm not sure, then I think there's 5 skeins in a pack. But this is what I have, what I came up with. I just love it. It's a 2-ply yarn, but it's very loosely plied. It's not like the Merino Twist from Stukken. It's a much looser plied yarn, and it's got a little bit more meters on. I think it's got 350 meters on a 100 gram skein, but it's a lovely yarn to weave with. It's very soft and it fills up nicely. It fills up. The looser the yarn is plied, the more it fills up when you take it off the loom and wash it. The tighter it's plied, it doesn't fill up as nicely when you take it off the loom and wash it. But this filled up very nice. And I don't know if I can show you the yarn itself. So there you can see it's looser plied than the 2-ply Merino Twist that's made by Stukken. Sometimes I just prefer, especially for a wrap, I think most of the time I prefer a shorter fringe that's not twisted. I'm all in these kind of colors, it seems. I've got a colors theme going on again. It's still very light and very airy and lovely for our climate. I think you can even wear it in summer. It covers up wherever you want to need it to cover up when you are sitting outside or going out for an evening. I think it came out quite well. I used 4 different colors. And I think that's my standard recipe, is warp my whole 70 centimeter Ashford Knitters loom, 2.5 meters, and yeah, that's, and then I think I just alternated in blocks. I warped all 4 colors, and then I went back, reversed the first 3 reversed, warped them again, and then I tried to weave in that order, not in that order, but I measured that it's about 10 centimeter wide every width of the warp. So I tried to weave 10 centimeters with every color, but I did alternate them. I did change them up a little bit. I didn't keep the order exactly the same. I just get bored so easily. And it also matches what I'm wearing. I'm really having a color theme going here. Just show you. I think maybe I must have this as a picture again. Can you see the theme, color theme thing going? So that's it for all the whips that I managed to finish before this year ends, and I'm happy. I'm happy with that. It means that I can start a lot of new projects. And I'm quickly going to show you one, and then I'm going to end this episode, and hopefully maybe early in the new year I can show you what I've started. And I'm going to try and keep my whips to the minimum. That's one of my goals, is to keep my projects to the minimum. And I will probably, if they don't work out, just frog them again, or if I don't want to finish them, just frog them again. But the one thing I want to show you is just another raglan top I started. Okay, so I don't have a label with me. No, I don't. I'm using Purl Soho Linen Quill that I was so lucky in South Africa. That is like, I can't explain it to you, but to own some Purl Soho Linen Quill, that to me, that is a huge thing. So I was so lucky to get my hands on 3 skeins of linen quill. I will write the colors, the color I'm using below this video. I'm not sure what the color is, and I don't know where the label is. I unfortunately left it somewhere. I'm not sure where. So it's a beautiful color. You can see the linen in this. It's Highland wool, alpaca and linen. That is the blend. And if I'm correct, Highland wool comes from Peru. That's so if you see something that's made with Highland wool, or a yarn that's got made of Highland wool, then it's probably yarn from wool from Peru. It's very light and airy. It's a fingering yarn. It's lovely to knit with, really, really lovely, very light, very airy. So I wanted to do my idea was to do the coloring book tea by Tiff Nealon, I think. So I'm not even going to link that below, because I ended up not doing that, because I got another idea. So I started with that, and then I completely went off the script. So this is what I have so far, and oh, I just love it. Love, love, love. So I'm doing a plain knit front back, knit front back. So you put a marker, you divide for your front and back and sleeves, and then knit front back, slip your marker, knit front back. That's what I end up doing, because why I didn't continue with the coloring book tea is she's got a different way of doing her raglan increases, a different ratio and all of it. So it's a really nice pattern. Please go and have a look at that. But I wanted to do these 2-row stripes, and with her raglan it would not have worked. Doing this, it would have distorted here. So I'm doing 2-row stripes in between. So for the yoke part, I did 10 rows of the linen quill and 2 rows of what I'm using is yarn that I've had in my stash, I think, for about 4 years. It's the first John Arbon yarn that I bought from Mariki from Colors of Amalfi, and it's Alpaca Delight. I don't think, unfortunately, she doesn't have any more of it, and I don't even think John Arbon makes it anymore. I'm not sure. They might, maybe they did start making it again. I'm not sure. But it's a fingering yarn. It's almost going to a light fingering. It's 425 meters. And the linen quill, as I think I said, is 400 meters. So they do go well together. And I've got this cream color. I think it's called white. I don't have the labels of the others anymore because I did use it for another project previously. And then I've got all these, so I've got these beautiful colors. And this is 70% alpaca, very fine alpaca, and 30% Falkland merino. So it's a very soft yarn, very soft. It's a 2-ply as well. And I think it works out just what I imagined for it. So it's got a higher neckline, and yeah, I think on the body, what I'm doing now is knitting 8 rows of the linen quill and then still 2 rows of the John Arbon stripes. And then I might, if I'm through the sequence, I'm going to change up these 4 colors. I'm going to keep the white in the 5th color every time, or the first one every time. And then maybe I might mix up these colors. And when I'm through with the 5 colors, I might change to 6 rows of the linen quill and then still 2 rows of these stripes, just to change it up a little bit. And what my idea with this is to have it as an in-between when it's get autumn, spring kind of weather. So what I'm thinking is maybe a 3/4 sleeve. That's what I'm aiming for, and then see how it wears. I've got enough to make a long sleeve garment, but I've realized that I haven't got any 3/4 sleeve except now for my luggage, but that is a winter woolly sweater. So maybe I can wear that in between weather as well, but I really need some more 3/4 light airy, so I can wear this on its own or with over a t-shirt or something for extra warmth. And yes, my aim is to have it done in January. Let's see how that goes. That is the front. Sorry, this is, I was wondering what is hanging there. It's my thread from the back. I just love the rustic look. It doesn't feel rustic, but it's got a rustic look. So that is the whip that I'm going to show you today. That is my main. So this is, except for the 3 that's going with me into the new year, that will probably be more. I will take them out more when it gets cooler, April, May. So at the moment I'm working on this, and I've got a few smaller projects that I want to start. So hopefully I will be able to share those early in next year with you. There's one project that I really want to start, maybe the second half of January. If you want to go and have a look at that, so long. It's a Burra cowl by Wallin. It's a color work, a fair isle cowl, and there's quite a few podcasters that are having a knit along, some for the first 6 months of 2023 and some for the whole year. Some for all Wallin projects, and some just for the Burra cowl. But if you want to go, I will link to PJ Knits. If you want, I will link to her YouTube channel. If you want to go and get more information on the cowl, I would love for anyone from all over the world and more people from South Africa to join in and try fair isle knitting. It's addictive. Or addicting, I don't know, one of those words. And I'm going to use my John Arbon Harvest use. I'm not going to buy yarn. I've got lovely yarns, and I want to dive into my beautiful John Arbon yarns that I've accumulated over, I think, 2 years over, every now and again I would buy 1 or 2 skeins from Mariki from Colors of Amalfi. So I've got quite a lot of beautiful colors. I think after the 15th of January, I'm going to start that. And I would love for anybody to join. This PJ Knits mention all the podcasters as well as Knits and Pieces. I think if you go and watch their pajama party, the last episode, they do have a banner with all the podcasters that are participating in this knit along. So it's quite a big, exciting online event, and I love being part of the community. It's just it's so nice to be part of that community. So and that is such a nice way to get into Marie Wallin's way of writing a pattern and in her way of charts, because her charts are quite different from the usual charts that the modern indie designers are using. She doesn't have any colors on her charts, it's symbols. So if you want to get into Marie Wallin's patterns, I think knitting a cowl like that is a good way to get into that. And what I'm going to do is I will expand the chart. I will make it much bigger so that I can print it on a big A4 piece of paper, and that way it's much easier to follow her charts. And you can even color it in if you still need extra. I will see how it goes. If need be, I will color them in for my eyes to read the lines better. So I would love for you to join me, joining all the other podcasters knitting the Burra Cowl by Marie Wallin. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful start to the new year. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you soon in the new year. Have a wonderful time. Goodbye.